Welcome back to Sci-Fi Junkies, where science fiction isn't just a genre, it's a space for reflection, wonder, and sometimes feeling deeply human. Today we're diving into Finch, a quiet post-apocalyptic film starring Tom Hanks. That didn't make loud headlines, but quietly delivers one of the most touching sci-fi stories of recent years. Let's talk about loneliness, legacy, and one very clumsy robot named Jeff.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars.
Finch is a 2021 sci-fi drama directed by Miguel Sapochnik. Yes, the same guy who gave us some of the most epic Game of Thrones episodes. It stars Tom Hanks in what's essentially a one-man performance, supported only by a dog and a robot. Originally titled Bios, the film was set for a theatrical release by Universal Pictures, but due to the pandemic, it was eventually picked up by Apple TV+, which honestly fits the quiet, streaming vibe of the story. It's not about fighting aliens or saving the world. It's about a dying man, a loyal dog, and a robot who has a lot to learn about life. In a world devastated by a solar flare that destroyed the ozone layer, the Earth has become a wasteland. Temperatures are deadly, UV radiation is off the charts, and humanity barely holding on. Finch Weinberg, a former robotics engineer, is one of the few survivors. He lives in a bunker with his dog, Goodyear, scavenging for food and shelter during the day, and hiding from deadly weather at night. But Finch knows his time is limited, so he builds Jeff, a robot, with one mission: to take care of Goodyear after he's gone. Together, the three of them set off on a journey westward, towards San Francisco, and towards something more than just survival. 1. Themes and message. This isn't your typical end-of-the-world movie. Finch is about legacy, about love, about teaching someone, or something, how to care. It doesn't ask, how do we rebuild civilization? It asks, what do we leave behind when we're gone? Finch isn't a hero. He's a dying man trying to make sure his dog is okay after he's gone. But that's what makes it powerful. His goal isn't to save mankind, but to pass on kindness, loyalty, and responsibility, human values, to a machine. And Jeff, he might be made of metal, but his journey is one of emotional growth. Through Jeff, the film explores what it means to be human. 2. Visuals and tone. Visually, Finch is grounded. The color palette is muted, the landscapes are barren, and the vibe is intentionally quiet. No massive explosions, no futuristic cityscapes, just empty highways, abandoned buildings, and silence. And that silence matters. It makes the interactions between Finch, Jeff, and Goodyear feel more intimate. It puts focus on their relationships rather than spectacle. Jeff himself, played via motion capture by Caleb Landry Jones, is designed to look clunky and unfinished, like something built in a garage. And that's the point. He's not sleek, he's not perfect, but he's learning. And watching that growth is one of the film's most emotionally rewarding elements. 3. Production process. The production of Finch was minimalist, but impressively crafted. Rather than relying on green screen or virtual sets, the filmmakers chose to ground the story in real-world locations. Most of the movie was shot in the vast deserts of New Mexico to capture the haunting emptiness of a post-apocalyptic Earth. To bring Jeff the robot to life, Caleb Landry Jones performed in a full motion capture suit directly on set, acting alongside Tom Hanks and the dog Seamus. This approach allowed for genuine interaction between characters, especially important for building emotional chemistry in such a stripped-down story. The design team combined motion capture, practical elements like Jeff's gloves and outer limbs, and targeted CGI to make Jeff feel like a machine built in a bunker from leftover tech. Believable, functional, and imperfect. Visual effects were used, yes, but not in a flashy way. The focus was on real presence, not spectacle. This grounded approach helped Finch stay emotionally resonant, even as it explored futuristic themes. 4. Fun fact about Finch. The movie was filmed in the deserts of New Mexico back in 2019. Jeff's design was intentionally homemade to reflect Finch's limited resources and one-man ingenuity. Caleb Landry Jones performed Jeff in a motion capture suit directly on set, allowing real-time interaction with Tom Hanks and the dog Seamus. Goodyear, Finch's loyal companion, was played by Seamus, an Irish Terrier mix who was rescued from a shelter. Seamus wasn't originally considered adoptable, but with time and training, he became a star on set and totally won the crew's hearts. The score was composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, an Oscar-winning composer whose music adds emotional weight to the film's quiet, reflective tone. 5. Theory and symbolism. There's something quite symbolic going on in Finch, especially with Jeff. You could say he represents the next generation, learning from the mistakes of the past and trying to fix whatever little he can. He's not perfect, but he grows. Some fans have pointed out that their journey westward towards San Francisco is symbolic of searching for a new sun, or the last sliver of hope at the edge of the world. And maybe Finch knew that even if the world ends, legacy can still live on through connection, through compassion. Because love, at the end of everything, might be the one energy that can't be destroyed. Alright, let's talk about the ending. I personally see the ending not as a conclusion, but as a beginning. Finch eventually passes away from his illness, but not before completing his mission, building a robot not just to protect a dog, but to carry forward human compassion. Jeff, once awkward and childlike, evolves into something more. When he finally brings Goodyear to the Golden Gate Bridge, a place Finch once described as beautiful, it's more than just fulfilling a promise. It's a symbolic passing of the torch. Jeff isn't just preserving a pet, he's preserving a piece of humanity. There's no big twist, no explosive finale, just a quiet acknowledgement that sometimes love is the last thing we leave behind, and maybe that's enough. Finch may not be the loudest sci-fi film you'll ever watch, but it just might be one of the most heartfelt. It reminds us that even in a broken world, kindness matters. That teaching someone how to love, whether they're human, animal, or machine, might be the most meaningful legacy we can leave. If you've seen Finch, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Was Jeff truly alive by the end? Or just running code? Let's talk in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, because here at Sci-Fi Junkies, we break down the fiction to better understand the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!